pretty nice clouds today. Kind of makes sense. It was raining earlier, and I took advantage of that and ran in that shit. Fucking epic. And I don't say that lightly. I've been kind of feeling like a boomer. I think phone bad. You know, like objectively, phone good, but I think in practice, phone bad. I'm realizing that I like the world around me. For the most part, you know, the nature part, pretty good stuff. And I think humans are just so naive. You know, we're so sure of ourselves, but also just so incredibly naive to the workings of everything. Check this out. Like, holy shit. I don't know, man. The world's kind of an awesome place. And somehow we're destroying it. Like, there are less fireflies. 'Cause pollution. And here's the through line. Phone bad, right? But I don't think it was always bad. I think capitalism is bad. I think the market is bad. You know, like this whole AI existential threat to me feels kind of backwards. Because so what if this new technology turns into general intelligence and then takes all our jobs? Isn't that the goal? Isn't that the goal? On one hand, I think we work to retire. On the other hand, I think we work for fulfillment. Because we need something to do. We need something to do. Humans are, I think, pretty bad at doing nothing. And the system we live in assigns value, arbitrary value, to the things we do. It's like right now, I am adding no value to the shareholder. So does that mean that I'm adding no value to the world? No. And I've said this before. It's just a weird backward system. And I think that it's so transparent, more so than ever, how perverted it is, how malicious, and how much it takes advantage of people for the benefit of a few, of course. Even like our democracy. I don't think I ended up explaining that thought yesterday. Our democracy was built on the idea that some people are more fit to lead than others. Those people are property owners, and thus white men. That's what the system was built on. And in one sense, it's like, I can't disagree that that's probably how it should have been back then. Because unfortunately, those white owner? They didn't own whites, not majority, but majority. Those white property owners, they had education because they didn't have to subject their life to manual labor. And it's like, back then, technology, it's like people were doing menial tasks because they had to be done. But eventually, technology helped us out. And it's like, we don't have to do those menial tasks. We can all be educated. We could. And thus, we could all be fit to lead, or at least participate, Eventually, laws were passed that allowed black people to vote and actually participate in society, not just be a means of production. Same thing with women, at least in America, because I hear that was actually kind of behind the times. Either way, systems built on old ideologies are imperfect because our understanding of the world continues to evolve and develop, and we seem to be understanding things better. But also, like I said, we're so fucking naive. It's like, why do we assume we have answers at all? Like, what if we're just wrong about it all? What if we're wrong about everything? Because we can't say that we're right about everything. Most things we can't. I don't think there's definitive truth about almost anything. Someone, Ben Jordan, I believe, he described the process of science as trying to identify, how processes and how structures that make up the world today, how probable they are to work in one way versus how improbable they are to work in another. It is incredibly improbable that Helios, or Apollo, the god of the sun, rides his chariot over the horizon every day, pulling the sun behind him. That's very improbable. more probable the sun is in the middle of our solar system and we orbit around it. That's more probable. Because as humans, we've worked together to kind of identify things that usually work together, you know? We've thought deeply and critically about the makings of our world. And it just seems like we're in a weird time where instead of valuing that more, we're reversing. We're regressing. We're not progressing. And that's a very pessimistic outlook. Because obviously we are progressing in many forms. But it's just... humans are so imperfect. And I've also kind of felt like a lot of people around my age, you know, Gen Z, I don't want to say, you know, it's a jaded generation, or we're you know, the realists. But it seems like we're all kind of coming to the same conclusion. That the world that has been built, the society that we live in, the economic system that controls us is actually not that great. And it's built on just the shoddiest structure and a bunch of bullshit that you would have thought people would have gotten rid of. I don't know. Why are any drugs criminal? You know? Like, shouldn't they all be decriminalized and then regulated and educated? And then people who fall into addiction should be rehabilitated and welcomed back into society rather than ostracized or thrown in jail. It's like, that's fucked up. What the hell is happening? Racism, for one. Money. There's always some type of money reason. Let's see. Do I have any more thoughts? I was saying phone bad, and algorithms, I think, were the start of phone bad. Monetizing things and then creating systems to keep people, you know, tethered to their devices, and ways to monetize literal time. That's what's bad. The fucking mosquitoes are back. Fuck. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have answers. I don't have solutions. I just have my perspective and my experiences. But it seems like a lot of issues in society have been amplified because of the phone, because of the internet, and now with generative AI, it's like things are getting even more bleak because the system we have in place is not designed for people to thrive. It's designed to use people. And if people have no use in that system, then it feels like we have no use in the world. But that's just simply not true. So, I guess that's my point. I have inherent value, just like everyone else. Despite the system, the society, the economy we live in saying otherwise. Why does it feel like I have to hustle? Why does it feel like I can't just live? One part biology, I think a bigger part society. Because, like, what a world to be in. And what a society to put up with. I'd like things to change, man. I want to escape, but I don't want that to be the solution. I think a better solution is if we change. Just, imagine what the world could be like. What type of world do you want to live in? And then, why can't that just be? Why can't we live in the world that we all want to live in? You know what I'm saying? It's a bunch of bullshit.